So writing equations of lines, we're going to start out with slope-intercept form. You guys already know what slope-intercept form is. What is slope-intercept form? Good job. Y equals mx plus b. So to write an equation in slope-intercept form, what two things do you need? The slope and the y-intercept. If you have those two things, you can write the equation in slope-intercept form. So let's do that. There's our slope. There's our y-intercept. What would the equation be? Negative 2/3 x plus 6. And you've written the equation in slope-intercept form. It is really that easy. Don't overthink it. It really is that straightforward. When you have the slope, you have the y-intercept, writing it in that form is exactly that. It's just plug it in. Don't do anything fancy. I mean, it's nothing crazy about it. Let's do another. Let's say the slope is 5 with a y-intercept of negative 7. So throw a negative sign on the y-intercept. What's our equation? Either plus negative 7. The common way of doing that is just saying minus 7. Yes, ma'am. Not simplified, and you have to simplify. It could be, but it's not very likely. I would ever ask you a question where the slope's not. If I'm giving you the slope, it's going to be a simplified slope. You would recognize it if you needed to simplify it, but it shouldn't encounter that. If I'm giving you the slope, it should be in simplified form already. Do one more, and then we'll go to the next thing. Let's do 11 over 6, and the y-intercept negative 5 over 6. So your y-intercept could be a fraction too. What's our equation? What? 11 over 6x, and then minus 5 over 6. Slope always goes in front of x. Y-intercept always hanging on the end there. That part really is that easy. All right. So that's slope-intercept form. Nothing else going on with slope-intercept form. No. We're just writing the equation today. That's what we're doing with slope-intercept form. We're going to do another form in just a second. Okay. That other form is called point slope. Point slope form. Rewrite that. Point slope form. In point slope form, with slope-intercept form, you had the slope and a y-intercept. With point slope form, what two things do you think you have? A point, like an ordered pair, and the slope. Okay? So if you've got those things, your equation can look like this. Okay? X1, Y1 is just an ordered pair. Okay? So these pieces are the x and the y coordinates from an ordered pair. The slope is still going to be given to you. That's still m. That m is still the slope. Okay? This y is always there. This x is always there. That y1 is from an ordered pair. This x1 is from an ordered pair. Okay? And those are the things you're going to be given to write an equation in point slope form. So let's do an example. See what this looks like. We want it in point slope form, given that the slope is 3 and it goes through 4, 5. Just simple ordered pair, 4, 5 with a slope of 3. So our point slope form, I'm just putting the stuff that's always there in black, and I'm going to fill in the other. What's the slope? 3. Where does that go? Outside the parentheses here in front. Okay, so the 3 goes there. And then our ordered pair, we have an x and a y. So it's x minus 4 and y minus 5. And that's the point slope form. Don't do anything else to that one. All right. Step it up just a little bit. Throw a negative sign in the ordered pair. So let's say we have the slope. The slope is 1/2. And it goes through an ordered pair, -6 and 10. Again, we're going point slope form here. So y minus what? No. Positive 10. Because that's the y value in our ordered pair. Y value is going to go with y. Okay. Then what goes in the front? 1/2, the slope. Parentheses, x minus. It's a minus -6, which we know 2 negatives turn into a plus. That's the way. And I wouldn't expect you to write this extra step if you wanted to go ahead and do that. For notes purposes, I'm putting 2 steps there. That's x plus 6 in there. This is the final answer. So anytime you have a double negative, it's going to change to a plus, even on the y side. Yes, ma'am.
Are we gonna ever try to work out?
Yes. Wednesday we'll come in and we're going to go from point slope form into slope intercept form, and then there's another form that we're going to talk about called standard form that we'll move from. So we'll be able to work through 3 different forms this week with lines. Slope intercept form, that's the easiest one. You've already got the stuff. But what if you had a slope and a point, and you needed slope intercept form instead of point slope form? And we will work them out some. Like you won't get like y equals 5 or something like that, but you'll get some things happening. We're gonna look at several examples today of different things. Let's do this one. Say we had the slope of -3/5, and it goes through -4, -1. So let's write our equation in point slope form that does that. So starts out with y, and then what? Plus 1, because it's minus -1, so that changes it to a plus 1. What goes in the front on the other side? -3/5 and x plus 4. Because it's usually a minus -4. 2 negatives make that a plus. And there's point slope form for that line. Given the slope and a point it goes through. Slope of 0 through 6, 7. In point slope form. What would the first part be? Equals Okay. What's 0 times x minus 6 going to be? 0. That's going to, all that side is going to cancel out. It's actually going to look like this. Y minus 7 is equal to 0. Because 0 times anything over here is going to be 0. Because the slope is 0.
So you're not going to do the plus on both sides?
If we were going for slope-intercept form, yes. But since we're asked for point slope form, we'll stop right there. Okay. Let's see. Let's do slope of -6 through -1/2 and then 2/3. Throw some fractions into the ordered pair. Does that change how we do it? No. Just got fractions in it now. That's the only difference. So what's our equation? Y minus 2/3. Yeah, the minus -1/2 would be plus 1/2. And there's our point slope form. Okay, so given a slope and an ordered pair that it goes through, point slope form, really easy. Okay. Let's get to the next thing. We still want to write in point slope form. All right. Through 6/8 and 4/13. Uh-oh. If I'm writing it in point slope form, what are the two things that I need?
Slope and point.
Slope and a point. Well, obviously got a point. I've got two of them actually. But I got to find the slope. And how do we find the slope? M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That slope formula that we did back before fall break. So we're going to take our ordered pairs and subtract the y values on top and then subtract the x values in the same order on the bottom. So for us, I'm going to do 13 minus 8 on top and then 4 minus 6 on the bottom. 13 minus 8 would be 5. 4 minus 6 is -2. So the slope is -5/2. That's my slope. Now, with point slope form, you can use either of the ordered pairs. It doesn't matter which one you use. Just pick one of them and use the slope you found and one of the ordered pairs. It does not matter which one. I'm not going to be picky on which one. Okay? So your equation, if I use the first one, it'd be y minus 8 equals -5/2 x minus 6. And that would be correct. Go away. And then if I use the other ordered pair, you don't have to do both. You can do one or the other. It would be y minus 13 -5/2 x minus 4. Either of those would be correct. It doesn't matter which one you do. Pick one. Now, Wednesday, we'll go from either of these forms to a slope-intercept form, and we'll all get the same answer no matter which ordered pair we started with. But today, we're just doing point slope form, and it doesn't matter which ordered pair you pick. Pick one. I usually just pick the first one. That way I don't have to think about it. But if you want to try to avoid negative signs or something like that, you can by picking the ordered pair that works best for that. Okay, let's do one more of those. goes through -5, 10, and 11. You okay over there, Devin? And 14. -5, 10, and 11, 14. So what's the first thing we've got to do?
14 minus 10.
Yeah. So 14 minus 10 is 4. 11 minus -5. Be positive 16. And then what? Reduce it if it will. 4 over 16 will reduce to 1 over 4. So there's our slope. We know the slope is 1/4. Then you pick an ordered pair to use for your equation. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter which one you pick today. I'm not telling you which one to pick. Just pick one. If I pick the first one, be y minus 10 is 1 equals 1/4 x plus 5. If I use the second one, y minus 14 equals 1/4 x minus 11. Both of those are correct. They're both in point slope form. They both have the same slope. It's just using the other ordered pair. And again, I don't care which one you use today. Use either of those you want to. Okay. Are there any questions about slope-intercept form or point slope form today? That really is what we're doing today. There's nothing, no catches to it or anything like that. Let's do one more of the slope-intercept form just to get that back in your memory. And do maybe an exceptional one that's a little weird. Because those are always the ones that cause issues. Let's say we wanted the slope-intercept form of something that had a slope of 0 and a y-intercept of 8. If we're going for slope-intercept form, remember that's y equals mx plus b. So that would be y equals what? 0x plus 8. But what's 0x? What happens to it? It's 0. It doesn't do anything. So what's 0 plus 8? It's 8. So that would be the equation for one like that. Take the slope they gave you and the y-intercept and plug them in. And then if this is 0 here, it goes away. One more that's maybe a little bit different than that even. And then we're done. Let's say we had a slope of -7/8 and a y-intercept of 0. Writing in slope-intercept form. So be y equals what? Plus 0. But adding 0 to something, does it change it? No. I would accept this as an answer. That's correct. But you could write it a little bit simpler by just saying y equals -7/8 x. I would take either of those. They're both the same. This one is maybe a little bit more descriptive in it. You know that the y-intercept is 0, but this is the more common way that you would see that. If there's nothing out here, then you know the y-intercept is 0. It's an understood thing. Okay. All right.